Yeah. And I'm going to start the summarizer. And what I will do is when we go to the executive session, I'll turn off the recording and turn off the summarizer.
So I was saying we need to appoint a secretary.
Yep. Yeah, I'm getting to the.
I think it's been my turn. I think I'm overdue, so I can do it.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
So the next thing on the agenda is attendance, and Jim, you can see everybody presumably on Zoom.
I can.
I don't know who is
It'd be nice to
representing.
know who's attending from Belmont IT department.
Yeah, if you would identify yourself, that'd be great, either in the chat or unmute.
So in the chat, it says Chris is running a little bit late. He will join when the executive session starts.
Right.
So
somebody is sitting there.
or was sitting there. I don't know.
Oh, wait, there we go. There's it's Sam Ross. Oh, he sent it to me directly, not to the room. Got it. Thanks, Sam. Okay, so I guess the next order of business is to let me find the window here so I can share it, is to approve the minutes from last time, which was February 4th. Let me bring that up. And can you all see that?
I can see it.
Okay. And the only issue I've got now is I can't see the participant list as a separate window. So if any of you notice somebody hitting the waiting room, I don't know if it shows up in yours. Let me know.
We can't see that.
Okay.
I don't.
I have the participants list.
Okay.
Next to the screen share. So.
But we can't see who's in the waiting room, though, Kristen. I think that was what
that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if it shows up on anyone's screen except for yours.
Yeah, it might not.
I think there might be a way you can add another.
Oh yeah, let me stop sharing and do that. Hang on. All right, there's nobody in there now.
You can add me if you want. I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, I've made you the host.
I'm not the only host, but
and now you have to let me share again. I should have fixed that beforehand.
I just allowed you to share, but right. I don't see any sharing.
Yeah, it's because I have to go back and redo it. Okay. Here we go. Okay, there it is. Oh, I forgot to write Secretary of the Day over here.
What is this quick recap? Is that a new thing?
I think Dan took advantage of the AI summarizer from Zoom that I sent him. So which I'll send to you after this one.
I did not use it verbatim, but I use it as the basis for that paragraph. Jonathan Green. All right. I'm letting in Jonathan.
Right.
He seems legit.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, sorry.
We're just up to reviewing the minutes, and before the meeting, you missed the excitement. We got Zoom bombed.
Oh no.
Yeah. I got a warning about it in email from the town today, which I was going to talk about. I guess I don't have to now.
Huh. Oh, well, I don't want to interrupt and hear more, but I do want to hear more.
I'll keep move on to that next. I'll keep scrolling through the minutes.
Okay.
So I was just going to say the summarizer was very useful. I didn't use it verbatim because it did have some omissions and hallucinations, but it was a good starting point.
I would suggest we strike minor edits and wordsmithing. We never like provide that level of detail in our minutes.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
That's fine. Could probably do the same thing down below where I say discussion of wording and added some text. I mean, yeah, of course, that's what we did.
Okay. Oops.
Yeah, good.
The summarizer said discussed how to handle hypothetical scenarios involving unauthorized access to the town's information systems, but we didn't go into executive session, and I don't really have a memory of talking in detail about scenarios. So I'm wondering if we want to. I mean, do you guys remember that specifically?
It's actually something that we're going to talk about in the executive session today. What came up was we talked about some of the reports about spoofing, and we just simply brought it up and concluded that we should try to talk about it this time.
Yeah, that's okay. Discussed how to handle it as a committee, not how the town should handle it. I guess that's how I was interpreting that.
Well, just sort of bring it to the town's attention that
Yeah.
There was something in the news just that afternoon about somebody bursting into a school somewhere and saying that they were from ICE and they were not, but they wanted access to the school records. And I didn't know whether that was going to become a thing. Apparently it didn't, but
At least not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Can I suggest a couple things here? Can you put municipal light board parentheses MLB parentheses? I don't think we usually use MLB as the acronym, so.
Good point.
Okay.
We love talking about Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
That was what threw me for a second, Kristen.
We certainly have not asked them recently about anything.
Yeah.
Are the question marks in the second paragraph, were those from you, Dan, or was that from the automated note taking?
That was me, and I was looking for someone to fill in my lapse. I couldn't remember the name of the package that they were looking at, and I couldn't remember whether it was specifically for monitoring or for whether it was more than monitoring.
So they I don't remember that they have a managed service, security service provider that watches over their IT systems, and they've been it's actually, this is again, I have more on this. I don't recall that we said that they were looking at buying something in particular at the time. Last year, they were working with the managed service provider, the MSSP, to basically mature their systems. And like I said, I've got a bit of a report on that because I did exchange some emails with them for the executive session.
Okay.
But it wasn't about looking at a particular package. Paul did point them at Dragos, which offers their software and their ITAC to municipalities. I don't recall whether it is free or not, but I do recall Paul acknowledging that it was not a just take it from them and run, that it does have some technical requirements they might not have in place.
Right.
So I don't know what we want to do here.
So would it be more accurate to say that they're looking at packages for monitoring, not a specific
And this
package?
is actually, it's not actually the board that's looking.
Okay.
This would be the department.
Okay. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I think Paul.
They're referred to as Belmont Light, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Paul knows more about this than I do anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how the conversation went here. I remember that we talked about that he had referred them to Dragos and that they had actually made the connection. But that's about all we knew at the time.
Okay, well, let's simplify to that then.
Okay.
I don't want to misrepresent them.
The spelling is correct. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure about the. Hang on. Sorry. I'm not sure about the software, so I'm just gonna leave that out. What is the ANC? It's a information something and analysis center, but it's probably not security. Sharing. I think that refers to what we knew last time.
Okay, I think at least on my screen, I see a period followed by an and. I'm not
Where
sure
did I?
if that's-
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
like combine that with the previous or the subsequent paragraph. I'm not sure if that's what you meant to do.
Wait, yeah, because that's exact. Yeah, I did. That's
Okay.
exactly what I wanted to do.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a hyphen in spearfishing or whether it's all one word.
I don't either. Anybody want to take a guess, or is it just okay to leave it and not worry about it?
I think it's probably okay. I
My guess would be hyphenated, but I don't think it matters.
Yep. So I know this is my own words, but I don't like them anymore. So the phrase something about spearfishing, what I meant that to be is that would be the topic. So
Oh, okay.
It sounds like I just like forgot
Yeah.
something and didn't know what to put in there.
And since we've had at least one vote this way and everybody else didn't care.
Okay, I'm fine with it. It looks right.
Or can I ask a question back one paragraph, which is, I don't really understand the last sentence. It says David Goldberg related that the general manager has attended all of the meetings they've had with ITAC so far. What is that?
So
Go
It
ahead.
sounds like either a tautology or
no, it's
factual inaccuracy.
what the content of this from memory is that whenever we've met with the light department, the general manager has attended the meetings. It hasn't been, just a bunch of people. The general manager has been there.
So Charles, because I
Can we
specifically
correct?
called out reaching out to Robin, Charles pointed out that I should also include Craig Spinelli, his boss, the light department director. And I answered that yes, I agreed, and I said, and we've been doing that.
So I want to offer up a correction because that the way I think it's implied that ITAC is the whole committee as opposed to specific like members of the committee.
True enough.
So you maybe rephrase that to indicate that
Oh,
it's
okay.
like a meeting that they've had with the chair or with the chair plus other people rather than the ITAC as a whole.
ITAC representatives. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
Mm.
That was what threw me off.
got it. Okay. That's fair. I like it. Thank you.
You could also remove the word they've. I think that is not necessary. David Goldberg related the general manager has attended all the meetings had with ITAC representatives so far. Yeah, that makes it a little clearer too, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We could strike the had.
Where? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're just making it shorter by leaps and
Yeah.
bounds.
I think my formatter puts an extra space after the period in IE.
Oh. And
Not that that's the
now,
worst thing. It's
now we're
us.
splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
I will make one observation, which is our minutes seem to have grown a lot from our more traditional and it's probably as a result of using the summarizer,
Yeah.
where we typically have sort of more summarized minutes when they're human produced.
This is the part I wrote.
Oh, this is the part you wrote? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this covers, I think, all the suggestions that we put out there. I think it's okay.
All right.
I just don't type very quickly, so I have to condense to keep up.
I just write less.
Yeah.
The next steps were mostly written by the summarizer. So
Yeah.
All right, I move to accept the minutes as amended, if there are no further comments.
I'd second that.
Okay. Dan?
as the minute taker, do I
You can vote yes or abstain or
I
even no to your choice.
I vote yes.
Okay, I'll vote yes. Kristen?
Yes.
Jim? Oh,
Yes.
and Jonathan
Yes.
and Charles. I can't hear you.
You're on mute, Charles, I think.
I don't think he's
Or
on
your,
mute. I think
or your mic's not working.
Could hear me now, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
How do you vote on the minutes, Charles?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so the minutes are approved. I gotta do one last thing here so I remind myself. And I will take care of sending these off to the town clerk for publication. Okay. Well, we have where we do we still have a member? Yeah, we still have a member of the public here. Matthew, is there anything that you wanted to ask or talk about?
Hmm. I wonder,
He's
well, hold on.
probably still driving.
Yeah, he's also maybe, or maybe that's just us muting him, but
No. He's muted. He said he was driving when before you got on, so you probably can't see it.
Yeah.
all right.
We'll leave it at that. Anybody in the IT department room want to bring anything up before we move on? Okay, so then I'll move on to the next topic with the town provided ITAC email address. This came up a few meetings ago when we first got the offer for it. Um, I have to admit, I'm a little confused about how this works. And I haven't had a chance to go back to James Goody, I think that's how you'd pronounce it, yet to ask. Um, the option is to have the email address forward to any number of us. By default, it goes to committee chair. So I don't know if you've been getting this, Dan, or if they're only sending it to me.
No,
Um,
I did see that, but I like you, I wasn't sure exactly what we were supposed to do about it. Or
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a convenient way for somebody to send a message to us without us having to publish our personal email addresses. But if we respond, they get our personal email address, and um, any emails sent to the committee's email address, as well as any responses, are public record. But I don't know how they collect the responses.
I
You're right. So I'm a little confused, but my feeling is this is not a replacement for like the mailing list we use for scheduling and stuff. Um, I guess I need to do more, get a little more information on this, because that the open meeting part of it kind of throws me for a loop. Um,
yeah. Uh, Many mail clients will allow you to change your, not your identity, but your, email identity, if you will, based on the address to which you are responding. So if you get something from that and you reply to it, you don't reply as you reply as, chair of.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about that.
It's kind of,
What I'm
yeah,
worried about is if the message I send back to the person who sends it to me, right? It's coming right into my Verizon address,
yeah,
and I reply to it. It doesn't matter what it says if I fudge the from line, it's going directly to that person. The town's never going to see that unless they give me a way to provide it to the town. My sent mailbox is a public record. And I have a problem with that
oh,
because I don't tend to keep my stuff around on purpose. I just I just clean out my mail regularly as a matter of personal policy. And this says that I'd be in violation of something if I did that.
yeah, no, I agree. It puts a burden on you to
Yeah,
preserve
I need to
records.
learn more about this, I guess.
Yeah,
But anyway, the main reason I wanted to bring it up tonight was because they have made it a real thing, and we need to figure this out. But we did think that it might be used as kind of like a mailing list type of thing, and that's clearly not um,
yeah,
what the intent is. So it's not going to be done. It's actually a forwarder, not like a listserv. So I guess we'll need to learn more about that.
yeah. We need to learn more. If it is more like a listserv, then if you just CC, if you just respond and CC.
Oh yeah, no, then it would be no problem. Right, exactly. Yeah.
But again, the burden is on us to remember to set that up.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I'll take an action to follow up with James on that. All right. So the next topic is to
Sorry, if it's just a forwarder, even the inbound email would not be recorded, right?
no, because they would send it to the town. The town as a forwarder would have the opportunity to capture it.
Okay. But that's an assumption as to how they
Well,
set that up.
I mean, if they're calling it an official record, then they have presumably made an effort to do that.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
But then
Dave,
in that case, though, if you reply and CC that same email, then that would also be captured probably.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be an interesting loop, but yeah, that's true. Because then yeah, okay, that may be how it's intended to work. I'll check with them.
Okay.
Dave, as it stands now, when you get sent I guess you do get sent emails that concern ITAC from the town. Uh, if you respond to them, wouldn't you be, aren't you currently setting yourself up to have your sent become a public domain of sorts or a public collection point?
I suppose so. If somebody were to send me something that were actually about ITAC business, but that actually has not ever happened. The
Okay.
only things that I've ever gotten or been through our Google group, which we only use for scheduling, which I'm told is actually a okay thing. I remember years ago that came up with Paul and I attended a thing where the town council was talking about a bunch of stuff, and that question actually came up. Can we email amongst ourselves to set up the time for the next meeting without running afoul of the open meeting law? And the lawyer basically said, yeah, that would be okay because you're not deliberating on any topics. So we have a repeat of, I guess, to maybe try to nail down a little further on developing a presentation.
Yep.
So
what that was, Paul was talking about having gone to talk to Jim, right, about that.
yeah.
Fortunate that the Bill and Paul both volunteered to help out, and they're not here tonight. So
Right. Should we just skip this topic?
I hate to just keep kicking it,
Yeah.
but I don't have anything to put in here. So
Anyone else before we move on?
Well, we could have an interesting discussion, but I tend to agree that if Paul and Phil, who are seemingly the organizers to be for this, if they're not here, it probably doesn't make sense.
Okay. So interestingly enough, for the open discussion, I was going to bring up the email I got today about Zoom bombing and what to do about it. Fortunately, ours happened before the recording started. I mean, it was certainly offensive. After the fact, I clicked the report to Zoom. I didn't include any screenshots because the guy was already gone. Um, but oh well, I will. They did ask that I notify the town administration and IT department. I guess I'm sort of doing that now, since they're here. But I'll send a note off to. I don't know if it goes directly to Patrice. I guess I'll send it to Jim and let him tell me where to send it.
I
So
don't know
what was the nature of the bomb?
Yeah.
I don't really want to describe it, but I don't know if it was an actual live thing or whether it was
I
a
suspect it was not. I suspect it was he had figured out how to make a GIF, some kind of GIF be his profile picture, an animated GIF.
It could be.
That's my guess.
That video was similar to the video that was the Zoom bomb meeting I was at like a year ago.
All right.
I can't say if it was identical, but it was similar to.
Yeah.
One trick pony out there.
Yeah,
Can I ask if it was
somebody attempted
political
to
or
connect to the Zoom link last night. I got a note from Zoom. Hey, someone's trying to connect to your meeting. You should start it. I'm like, well, no, I'm not. And I just figured, I didn't recognize the name, but we've had people uh from the public the last couple of meetings. I figured somebody was interested and just misread the date, and so I didn't think much about it. But that may have been the test.
so how did you respond? What were the actions you took?
Just
I just removed the person from the room as quickly as I could.
Okay. So you didn't have to shut down the whole meeting and restart or anything.
No, I've got a while I was the host, I've since made Dan the host because when I was doing the screen shares, I couldn't see the waiting room. I just moved my mouse as fast as I could to those three dots, and and I know there's a remove from meeting in that menu.
if you need to find it, it's down near the bottom.
Yeah.
So how 2020? I mean, come on.
Yeah. All right.
Pick a new prank.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess is there any other topics for open discussion before I move to go to executive session?
Well, just I guess was there more that in our role as ITAC the town was looking for with respect to the Zoom bombing in terms of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so it was just for awareness.
They sent something out to all committee chairs this afternoon.
So
Well,
a couple of more items on your agenda, preparing for back-to-back in-person meetings.
Oh,
Right.
I missed that. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you for reminding me. That should have been before the open discussion. I screwed up the list. So I didn't catch it. And I would actually like to schedule before we go to executive session so we get it in the recording and can just leave when that's done. Yeah, so I sent around the thing that we got from town clerk that the whatever you call it, the extension to the rule that was done at the beginning of COVID is expiring at the end of March. I sent a note out after that, noting that before the pandemic, we were doing our meetings effectively hybrid. Not that we were ever had anybody actually on the video call. You may recall Paul used to do this with Google Meet. I don't think we started using Zoom until the pandemic, but
Right.
the idea was that people could join, and if somebody was traveling, they could attend, but they couldn't vote. One of us, we had to have a quorum in the room, that according to OML, but we would allow people, and we had been arguing with the select board for years, asking them to approve letting people vote. You'd still need a quorum in the room, but if a member of the committee needed to be away and attended remotely, they could vote. So that never got done to my knowledge. So if the extension actually is allowed to expire and doesn't get re-extended, then we would be back where we were before, where we'd have to have a quorum physically. But I said, we use our own Zoom account because they said they weren't going to provide Zoom accounts for other committees anymore. And I said, well, we use our own Zoom account, but we were doing this before the pandemic. Would you have any objection to us just going back to that mode so that if people wanted to watch what we were doing, they could do so, understanding that we would need a quorum in the room. And if a member were on remote, they couldn't vote. And I never got a response back from town clerk, but Patrice jumped in right away and said, um, uh, don't get too worked up over this, because I'm pretty sure that the legislature is going to just do an extension again. They're not going to change the OML like everybody would like them to do, but they're probably going to kick the can down the road again. And so we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I have taken the new template for meeting postings, which has the wording about you know, the extension's expired, everything has to be in person, yada yada yada, and I modified it to say that we're going to make the meetings available to the public by Zoom, and it's just, you know, voting members have to be in person. I don't know what the wording I'm gonna use is exactly. I'll kind of consolidate the words from that they provided, and just stick something at the end. And you know, if I get in trouble for it the first time I ask for a meeting posting, then I'll deal with it. I'll try to be early before the next meeting, assuming Patrice is not correct. If Patrice is correct, I go back to using the same template I've been using.
Well, I think we need to be ready for that. And in fact, I think
Yeah.
we probably need to expect it, because I just looked at the Mass legislature calendar and they only have one more session before the end of this month. So if they don't get it done on Thursday, it's not going to get done.
Well, actually, is it the legislature or is it the governor's office? Because it was an executive order, right?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. I may have said legislature before, but I think I misspoke. I think Patrice just said that she thinks it's going to be extended again. So that would come from Healy.
Well,
does anybody know what Healy's point of view is on this?
My guess is that, like everybody else, it's so far down on her radar that she hasn't given it a thought, and would therefore, and this is, I would actually agree with Patrice that if somebody went to her and said, "Hey, could you just extend this, kick the can down the road a little bit more so that towns can continue doing this," she'd probably say, "Yeah, what the hell? We'll think about it later."
Where do we meet physically? Is there a set place where we have to do that?
It's in town hall.
Okay.
The conference room we get is not always the same. There was a period of time when we were in conference room 4 all the time. Then it became conference room 1 most of the time, occasionally going back to 4, and occasionally going to the one that used to be the jail cell or something like that.
But we presumably or the chair presumably has to book the room.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's part of, it becomes part of the meeting posting process. I think it might mean that you want to start trying to do things earlier, but I think you can book the room before the actual posting is submitted.
Yeah. But to take another shot at answering the question, I don't think it is required to be in any particular place as long as it is accessible to the public.
Right. Yeah, I believe that is correct.
Traditionally,
we've always done it in town hall.
Yeah. Because I don't have a big enough living room,
Yeah.
Yeah, but like various committees meet, like at the school committee, I think, met at the Chenery for a long time. I don't know if they still do that. I think some committees might meet at the library, especially, well, not now, but I bet the new library is probably going to be a popular place.
Yeah.
We've met at the Homer building before.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. Yes.
We even met at the old light department building when it was still being used, way, way back.
That's before my time, even, I think. I don't
remember that
one.
Oh, actually, I remember actually being down at the Public Works office also.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got around. Or they lacked space for us and forced us to get around.
You guys need to write a history of the ITAC.
Memoirs.
So Dave, were you getting down the path of trying to schedule next meeting before we went into executive session?
Yeah,
That was
I would,
preamble to that topic.
yeah, I would like to try to do that. So we have let's see, April. So, our usual third Thursday, that's the default on my calendar, is Thursday the 17th. We've been trying to do Tuesdays. Tuesdays are going to be bad for me for the next couple of months, though. So I'm wondering if I know Thursday's bad for Kristen, and I think it was for somebody else as well. I'm wondering if a Monday or a Wednesday could be done um, in April,
So
but
I think that
not the 14th though. We would have to
no,
go to the next week because of Passover.
Could do a Monday, but are town meetings coming up soon? I haven't seen when the next town meetings are.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I need to check on that. But Monday, I could do Monday.
so
I am
I can't do
out
the 14th.
Monday.
I think it's Patriots Day anyway. I could do the 21st. Um,
I cannot. I'll be out of the country.
What about the
sorry, Jonathan,
28th?
could you repeat that? I couldn't make that out.
I'm sorry. I said I the 21st. I'm just coming back into the country, so I don't
Okay.
think my flight lands until later.
What about the
23rd,
28th
maybe?
28th.
or Wednesday the 23rd? Although it was Wednesday not an option, Kristen.
Just a second. Oh, I'm off mute. Okay. I could make a Wednesday work. Yeah.
So
I think that will work because yeah, the thing my son has to do on Wednesdays is a little earlier, so I think I could do that. Yeah.
I can't do the 23rd, but I could do the 28th.
Okay, so that's back to a Monday.
Yeah.
Is everybody else okay with that?
I can't. That I'm going to be out of town that week.
I can do Monday the 28th.
Actually, let me
I can.
double check that. Shoot. I have a conflict the last couple of days of April, but I'm not sure which days. So I'm just going to shut up and schedule around me.
All right, let's go for the 28th.
Do we want to give the chair the ability to choose from two dates that are
Well,
acceptable?
what I'll do is I just
we're
need to
missing-
set, yeah, we're missing 3 people. So I'll set
Yeah.
something tentatively and then I'll send it around and see if we need to move it.
But if we come up with two dates now, it might be easier for you to move it if you have a primary and a backup, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have we exhausted all of the Tuesdays that are possibilities?
Tuesdays are bad for me through May.
Okay, all right, okay.
That's the problem. It's just this brief period of time, but I
Yeah.
can't do Tuesdays until the end of May.
I think
So if we want, why don't we just write down that we are still deciding on the next one, looking at the 23rd and 28th or something like that.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, this is just the minutes. In the end, what actually happens can be different. And Ellen was emphatic when I asked her that we don't change the minutes because we changed the meeting date.
Okay. So I will say that, so the 23rd and the 28th. So I'll put in the minutes that the 23rd and 28th are the two dates being considered,
Okay.
and that the chair will check with the absent members on their availability on those dates.
Yep.
Did I indicate that I can't make the 23rd either?
Okay. Like I said, I'm going to send email out to the group and we'll figure this out in
Okay.
email.
Mhm.
Okay. I think now we've captured everything. So we'll need to take a vote to executive session. And once we do that, I'm going to have Matthew, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to remove you from the room and I'll turn off the recording and and the summarizer.
Subscriber.
Yeah. So may I have a motion to go to executive session?
So moved. Second.
Sorry, who moved and who seconded?
I moved. I moved.
Kristen moved? Okay.
I think it was Charles who seconded.
Matthew
All in
has
favor?
a message here in the chat.
Sorry, before we do that, do we need to identify in the minutes of the main meeting what the purpose of the executive session was?
Sorry, I want to.
Yes, it's to
I want to pause for just a moment here. So Matthew is asking why he needs to be removed.
because
So-
we're going to executive session, which is only to be us and the town staff, so that we can discuss basically IT security issues that are not to be public.
Right.
So the formal
And
term of
that's-
that is to discuss the deployment of security personnel or devices or strategies with respect thereto. That's a quote from the OML.
Okay, so he put in the chat that he got it and he
Okay.
thanks you. So,
Thanks for
Thanks,
attending,
Matthew.
Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew.
Okay, he left voluntarily, but we've lost the Belmont IT department.
no, I'm admitting him.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that happened, but I think they just dropped off or
I
something.
think
If
they
that's
dropped
his
them.
if that's his real name.
Oh, there's Chris. Oh, that's why they dropped off. Okay. So anyway, let me stop the recording.